Hi, my name is Dell and welcome to Comic Snags. Okay, so I'm going to go and show you these comic books that I picked up at the swap meet. Then I'm going to show you another stack from this convention I went to. Alright, so let's get down with these comic books that I found at the swap meet. So I found two comic books for 50 cents. They're kind of a little bit beat up, but you know, for 50 cents I decided to grab them from this one vendor. This is Ms. Marvel number 3. And Marvel 2-1 Thing and Black Goliath number 24. I am trying to put together Ms. Marvel volume 1 run, so I'm actually glad I found this one. This one I grabbed because I didn't have 50 cents on me. I had $1, so I just picked up another one for 50 cents, but this is actually kind of a cool cover. Alright, so these next comic books I'm going to show you I bought for $2 each. This is Elektra Assassin number 7. This is written by Frank Miller, I believe. Yeah, this is one written by Frank Miller. And this is also artwork by Bill Skinkevich. So I'm happy to have this. I'm trying to put together the run of this 8-issue limited series. And I think I'm only missing a couple more. I just want to find them in the cheaper bins, though, of course. And this is number 5. So the next one I found is Green Lantern Corps Quarterly number 1, and this is a minor key. This is the first appearance of Jack T. Chance, right here on the cover. Now this one I found in the $5 bill, I think with like 3 or 4 of them coming up after this one. This is Superman. This is a Radio Shack comic. I know I picked up a couple of these Radio Shack comics before. They all, like I said before, they all come from this non-existent store, or maybe there might be a few around the country, but Radio Shack used to be a really big electronics store, but now I think you know, online and Amazon sort of killed their business, so they reduced the number of stores around. I know there's none in my area. Maybe there's one in yours, but if there is, you know, they're very far in between. So I'm glad I picked this one up. This is actually one I don't have. I think there's only one more from this sort of Superman Radio Shack series that I do not have, and hopefully I'll find them in the swap meet one day. Then I found this one too. I think this is the second one I picked up. This is Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane number 93, and of course it's got Wonder Woman in a different outfit, the 70s outfit. She really didn't have a costume. It was more like different outfits. It's kind of interesting. So I did pick this one up. This is actually a little bit beat up. I actually shouldn't have bought it, but you know, I didn't think I actually picked up the last one, but I went through my collection and I did find it. But you know what? It's $5, so you know, I'll just keep it in there. Maybe someone would be willing to trade for it sometime in the future. Another one I found for $5 is this great supervillain team up number 10 with this great Red Skull cover and Doctor Doom fighting Captain America. Awesome cover. And I found this for $5 as well. This is Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers number 1. So this is like the premiere issue of that comic book series. And if you haven't seen Rescue Rangers, man, it was awesome. I grew up watching Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck. So I'm glad I found this one. I also found Yogi Bear number 1. Of course, this is the original one. I think this may be a reprint from one of the earlier stories, though. Then I found Tarzan Lord of the Jungle number 1 for $5. Why not? It was great. It's got a great cover on there. I'm glad I have that in my collection. I also found Black Widow number 2 with this great Greg Horn cover. So I'm actually glad to find this one for $5. And then this one I found in the $2 bin. This is actually my favorite find from that vendor. This is the Aspen Sketchbook number 1. And of course it's got a Michael Turner cover. But inside, man, the artwork's fantastic inside of it, man. Yeah, this normally runs on eBay for about 20 bucks. So, you know, I'm glad I found this in the $2 section. And it's actually a pretty high grade. And he actually had 3 or 4 of these. I actually, in hindsight, I probably should have picked them up just so I could just open it full page and just admire the artwork inside. It's gorgeous. Alright, so these next books I got were from this vendor's half off section. And I'm really glad to have them in my collection. So this one is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the comic. This is number 1, and I got this for $10. So this is awesome. I've never seen this comic before. Never knew that they made a comic book of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. And if for those who've never heard of that, it was like this really, really, really like B listed movie. It was actually really bad, but it did have a couple stars in there. It had George Clooney was in there. For those who are younger, of course, he's from ER and stuff like that. The series, another old series, maybe you guys don't know about. But yeah, it had some famous actors before they were big in there. The one I can only think of is George Clooney, and it was all about I think like the tomatoes got radioactive and started attacking people, you know, and that's all it was. And it was like, you know, people go be on screen, be on, oh my God, it's a tomato, and then all of a sudden they just get hit by tomatoes. It was it was so ridiculous that it became a cult movie. So I'm glad I picked that one up. And then for $20, I found this. This is Wolverine number 145, and this is a minor key. This is when Wolverine gets his adamantium back. I know I pronounced that wrong, but then in X-Men, I forgot which issue it is, Magneto actually, it has a holographic cover. Magneto actually pulls out all his adamantium, his metal, out of his skin, right? And in this issue, this is when he gets it back. And of course, they showed that scene in X-Men 97. That was actually kind of hard to watch. I never realized how painful how painful it was for Wolverine to go through something like that. But then, that episode really knocked it home. All right. So the next one I picked up is this one. Of course, this is Johnny Quest number 5, and this is a fantastic Dave Stevens cover. And you know, I made this thing of trying to collect Dave Stevens stuff before it starts getting out of hand for the prices and stuff like that. There are a couple of them that are already out there, and unless I get extremely lucky, I don't think I'll be ownings. I believe one of them is like Space Vixens number 1, which is like I saw at one vendor's booth in some comic show, like when was that? Like maybe 2 months ago. He was selling it for like $600. It was crazy. But anyway, I found this one. He was selling it for $80. It's half off, so it's $40. That's basically how much you can find on eBay. So I picked it up. It's a great cover and a great copy, because you know it's an all black one on the side, and this is actually very pristine. I didn't see any sort of nicks when I looked at it. This is probably in the high grade. I'm always skeptical with like black covers to get 9/8, so this is probably in the 9s. But I'm glad I have it. And then the final snag that I got from that vendor was Dragon's Lair number 1. So I'm actually really happy that I found this copy. You know what? It says cover price of $80, and I bought it for $40. And I believe I saw this on eBay. After I picked it up, I checked. It was I think well over like $100. So I'm actually glad I picked this up for a very reasonable price. All right, man. So for those of you who don't know what Dragon's Lair is, so Dragon Lair was a video game. It was a video game that became an animation, that became a comic book, or maybe it became a comic book then animation. I'm not really quite sure on how all that worked, but it was like one of the first video. I remember spending dollars. No, I think this was like you have to actually pay like $1 to play this game, and it wasn't like a normal video game, like a player versus player or nothing like that. It was kind of like an animation, and then you had to like follow the script of the animation. It'd be like, what would Dirk do? Would he do this? Would he do this? Or would he do that? And you had like seconds to make your decision off of like a blinking light. And so what happens is that you'd watch, and then all of a sudden, you know, it come to a point where he'd have to like grab a sword, and then you see this light flash really fast, and then you have to maneuver your joystick towards that light. Like if you saw the flash on the upwards part of your screen, you have to like push it up, and then the story would continue. So what happens is that you would lose if you would miss that light. And so there'd be like parts where you have to do a sword fight, and then the light would flash like in like one direction, then right after that go in a different direction and another direction. So there was only really one way for this story to evolve, and it was to follow this flashing light. And I remember spending like hundreds of them, because there was like points where it was like, you know, you had to like was it do a sword fight or grab a stone or something of that in order to win the girl. So that was actually a really fun game. So I was a really big fan of it growing up, and of course, you know, I ended up watching the animation on Saturday mornings as a kid, and yeah. So I'm really happy to have this this piece of video game animation history in a comic book form. So all right, so let me go show you what I have next. All right. So here, let me go ahead and tell you a story. Actually, here, let me go flip it over. So what happened was that I went to a con. I went to the Ventura Toy Con, and then, you know, I was expecting there to be some comic books. But there was only I think like 3 vendors, and I think I went to all 3 vendors, and I bought something from their booth. So let me go show you the stuff that I got from this one vendor. You know what? Actually, I think I have some clips that I tried to do. So I'm not really good at like holding my camera out there and showing everything. So so I think I have like 2 clips that were actually watchable a little bit. It was really dark, man. When I went into that place, it was so dark. The camera shows that it was more lighted than it was, but then I had actual trouble trying to see everything in there. In fact, some people actually had little flashlights to check out some of the stuff they had at some of these booths. So I'm gonna go and show you a clip and probably do a small little voiceover after that. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, by this time I just turned around the corner and I found some comic books here and decided to, you know what, let me go and check these out really fast. Okay, of course they got like, this is their little wall section on this little magazine rack. You see some pretty good ones. Wolverine 1, that's pretty cool. I did take a look at this Fantastic Four, where it's the introduction of Galactus. And as you see, there was like some sort of Spider-Man, was it like original art that I kind of liked. So but I decided to start going into the bins and start looking for anything cool in there. Like I said, it's really dark, so it's kind of hard to see. Of course, I'm going through this, and this Amazing Spider-Man stuff, shattered variant, which is kind of cool. I thought about it, picking that one up. I think this is the first appearance of Tosin, second print. I thought about that as well. Some of the stuff I already have, like some of these Internals. This is stuff that I already have in my collection. I did like some of these Ghost Riders, but I'm not really quite sure what I had. I did see this G.I. Joe one. I believe that's the Todd McFarlane cover. He had a bunch of them. That one was kind of cool. You can't really see it, but then there was like a Kazar book. And Logan's Run #1. I thought that was kind of cool. Some Weapon X stuff. And I actually should have picked some of that stuff up, now I think about it. And as you can see, this is some really not so great camera work. So that's pretty much the end of my really bad camera work. Okay, let me go back to the books that I picked up. All right, like I said, that was short. And I wasn't very good about it. I'm sorry, you guys. I'll try to get better at doing this, but I'm still sort of self-conscious of going around the place and with a camera like that. So I'll try to get better at it. So here, let me go show you what I found. All right. So I found one booth that had a whole bunch of signed comic books, and so I bought a whole bunch of it. I think I spent about $120 after he gave me a deal. But let me go show you what I found. This is the Amazing Spider-Man number 583, and this is the 3rd printing variant, and it is signed by Todd Knock and who else is this? Zeb Wells. Yeah, so it's Todd Knock and Zeb Wells, and I'm glad I actually found that one. This is a great one. I actually think I have all the variants of this one, particular Obama meets Spider-Man one, but I don't have one signed, so that was great. And then I found this one. This is Catwoman number 41. This is a great, I think this is So Is Micah. Yeah, I think it's So Is Micah cover, but this is actually signed by Teenie Howard. Then I found Punisher number 1, and this is a minor key. I believe this is the, what is this? The first appearance of the Apostles of War, and this is also signed. This is signed by, is it Jerry Conway? So it was fantastic that I ended up picking this one up. Awesome. And then this next one I found was incredible. This is Dragon Ball Z number 6, and this is signed by 4 different people. So this is signed by Brian Massey, who plays Oolong, Cynthia Krantz, who plays Chi-Chi, Jeremy Inman, which is Android 16, and Chris Ranger, who's Hercule or Mr. Satan. So I'm really happy I found this. I love signed stuff, of course. It's best when the voice actor or any actor who's in that book signs it too. I love grabbing those SIGs as well. So I'm really happy to get this. Of course, you know, this one was the most expensive of all the books. This is $40, but like I said, it all sort of evened out to about $20 a book. And then this one is The Reckoning, Fantastic Four number 42, and this is signed by 2 people. We have Mike Aldred and Lori Aldred, who signed both of these. I'm trying to find out where their signature is. This is Mike Aldred's here, and I think he actually signed it twice, it looks like, because there's one here and then there's another one up here. So I think it was the red that was like kind of throwing them off, and then Lori Aldred signed at the bottom over here on the barcode. So yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's both Mike Aldred's signature at the top. All right. And then the last signed book that I found was Amazing Spider-Man number 6. This is signed by Don Slott, Zeb Wells, and Todd Knock again. Yeah, you know what? I think I had screwed up because either this one or the other one by Todd Knock, I actually had a David Mack signed book, Kabuki number 1, and I had it in there, and I think I kind of shuffle things around, and God, I hope I didn't leave it at the convention. But then I thought that was kind of cool because I didn't have a David Mack signature. So I must have forgotten it along the way, but I'm so glad I have these books, of course. All right. And then at that one booth that you had a clip, there was a whole bunch of slabs, and this is one of the slabs I found. So I found this a slab. This had a price of $135, but while I was looking at the slabs, he said that he was gonna give a discount of 20% off on all the slabs. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So this slab, after said and done, I think he knocked off like almost $20 from it. I think it was like, yeah, it'd be like $17 from it. So I paid like $108 or $109, something around there. And it is this one here. I found the slab of The Boys number 1. This is a 9.2. Of course, this is the first appearance of The Boys, Butcher, Kimiko, Mother's Milk, and the other ones was, oh my God, I forgot his name. The Simon Pegg based character. Oh my God, I was just watching this too. Huey. All right, so I'm glad I picked this up for about $100. So this is awesome. And now this. So this one vendor, he had like 3 comic books that I wanted, and there was a price on the back. Like, so this one I got here, oh, it already says what it is. So this is Macross number 1, and I bought it for $45, and it is gorgeous. Like I said, I do love the animation of Robotech, and then of course this is the first appearance of Robotech, and so I'm glad to have this in my collection. And this pretty much started my anime binge as I was growing up. Alright, so I'm glad I found that. So I found this one. He was selling for $60, and this is actually a Dave Stevens cover. So he actually ended up selling for $50, and I've been on a 3D kick, and I've been on Dave Stevens kick. So it's great that I found this one as well. This is the Seduction of the Innocents in 3D, and it is in perfect condition. It looks awesome. This is definitely in the high nines. This is another Dave Stevens cover to add to my collection. So I'm almost there. Of course, I'm not going to get all of them. Some of them already, like I said, priced me out, but I'm glad I found this one. And so for the last snag of the day, I found another Dave Stevens cover. So this one here is The Rocketeer, the movie adaptation, and I found a copy of this in the swap meet, but I was so disappointed. It's definitely not in this great a shape, but it did have like a split right at the bottom over here, and I was so sad. I was like, oh man. But then I ended up seeing it, and I saw it, and I asked him how much it was, and he said $45. And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh God, $45. And then he's like, I'll drop it to 40. But I was so excited to get these other two comic books. I said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And in my head, I was like, wow, you know what? This actually went up in price. Last time I thought this book was $20. He knew it was going to be like 45. But like I said, he saw that I was buying the other two, so he bundled it up. So I think this was he dropped this one to 50, and this one was 40. That he dropped down to, and then he dropped this down to 40 as well. So I ended up paying was that $130, $140? See, 80 plus, yeah, $130 for this. And I was like, man, I overpaid for this comic book. And then, I read it, and it said signed. Signed? What? Signed? There's nothing in there. I was like, oh my God, let me check the inside. So I opened it up. And right there on the front cover, on the front cover, Dave Stevens. And I was jumping up and down in joy, because I could never have hoped to find the Dave Stevens signature in one of these books for under, I don't know, maybe $150. Because I've seen his signature in like, let me see, like those like books that he's made, like sketchbooks of his work, and they're going for like $150 each book. And of course, if you have a Dave Stevens signature, you're not going to, there aren't going to be many of them, because unfortunately he did pass away at a very young age, and he probably didn't do a lot of signings back then. But however signatures or books that he has signed, you can't get another one of those. So I'm actually really happy and grateful that I actually found this comic book of his signed work. So it was the last snag of the day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate it. Oh, and if you are new to the channel, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. And if you are enjoying what you're seeing, hit that like button, leave a comment. And I'm very thankful for you guys for watching my videos. Hope they're not too boring. All right, man. You guys take care, and I will show you my next haul next week. All right, you guys take care. Bye bye.